Alright, in this video podcast in the wild here, I'm going to show you some fishing spots here in Knoxville, Tennessee in the Concord area. Now, this first spot is where I normally, tell people to go whenever they ask me where to go to catch catfish here in Knoxville, in Concord. And this has been a pretty good spot. Basically, this is the main Concord boat ramp. It's right next to the main Concord boat ramp. And I tell you what, I have caught plenty of fish here on and off camera. And I know others that have fished here before as well. This is basically a peninsula that is next to the boat ramp. Now, the unique feature of this spot is that about 50 yards out is an underwater point or an underwater peninsula that goes right next to this one. It's about 50 yards out. The best way to fish this spot is to go to the corner here, or the very point, and cast out towards the main lake. Now, the actual river channel is about 400 yards out. It's about 2 football fields, so you're nowhere near the actual river channel. This is just a giant cove, and I've caught fish out that way. And if you short cast in between the peninsula here and the underwater point peninsula, whatever I'm calling it, you have a chance to catch fish there as well. I lost something massive there one time, but it's a good spot to fish. And this is Fort Loudon Lake, and I will tell you kind of where this is at. These spots don't have exact addresses, but this is off of North Shore Drive near the traffic circle. And it's a spot that a lot of people know about. And I'm seeing a bunch of birds out there. So the bait's here. There's probably fish here right now. Now, the biggest fish that I have caught here in this cove is 30 or 40 pounds. I can't remember exactly, but I've caught some bigger fish here before. And I have heard of 80s and 90s caught in this cove as well. So it is possible to catch a big fish. Being Fort Loudon, it's recovering, so who knows? Maybe somebody will catch one here someday. Now, let's go to the next spot. All right, before I tell you where I'm at right now, I will do more videos like this, depending on if this video does good or does bad. So be sure to hit that thumbs up to show that you like this video and that you want to see more fishing spots in my area. There's a lot of good fishing around here, and I've got a lot of spots that are public enough that I could do videos without offending too many people. Now, this spot is really special to me. This spot is called Rocky Point. My parents would take me here when I was a kid to fish. Basically, my dad would put out a lawn chair, put a worm in the water, and fall asleep. There's an ambulance going by. All right, back to my story. While my dad was asleep, my mom would watch me just run up and down the bank trying to catch every fish in the water. Now, one time I was here with my parents and a buddy, and at these very rocks, I got mad. I was a teenager. A bluegill ate the worm off my hook, and I got mad. I threw it back out there with a bare hook. My buddy was laughing at me for doing that, and then all of a sudden, out from under one of these rocks came a 5-pound bass. It actually ate my bare hook. That's just one of the most incredible catches, at least to my memory, when I was a kid. Outside of that, I have not caught anything of size at this park. I've caught catfish, I've caught bass, I've caught bluegill. I've pretty much caught everything here, but nothing of real size. Now, there is a sewer pipe that goes underwater from this side to the other, and while I have actually never caught a thing off of that, and I'm talking from a boat and from the bank, others have caught big catfish off of it before. So supposedly, you have a chance of catching a big catfish here as well. This is Sinking Creek. Yeah, I think this is called Sinking Creek. And there's a couple of marinas. There's a marina in the background, that's Concord Marina, and then in the back is Fox Road Marina. Now, there used to be a fishing spot by the bridge way back there, the Pellissippi Parkway Bridge. And at that spot, I would catch so many catfish, I would lose count. I don't even remember what type of catfish they were. They were all really dark. And back then, I didn't really, even now I'm like, they remind me of like bullheads, but they were pretty big bullheads. And one of them actually took in my buddy's fishing rod, and I went swimming for that fishing rod and fought the catfish while swimming back. And he ended up giving me that fishing rod just because I rescued it. It was kind of an interesting thing. Now you can't fish back there. There's, $1 million homes. Looks like there's a lot of bait and a lot of birds here. This is probably a good spot to fish right now too if I had my fishing gear with me. Now for the next spot where a potential state or even world record catfish was caught. Now, I almost forgot about the fishing piers. This is not where the state or world record was caught. However, I do know a certain YouTuber caught a 100-pound class fish off of the T-tier, or at least I believe it's off of the T-tier on the other side towards the railroad track. Now, there's 3 piers here. All 3 of these, you are able to catch like crappie, sunfish, bass, whatever. But for catfishing, the best piers are the ones on the outside, which is the one I'm standing on right here, and the T-pier. There's a train track here, and there's a bridge, and the fish like to go in and out of that massive backwater area through that train bridge. So you can cast there, and there's a little bitty like hole like to the left of the T-pier. Now, I haven't really fished the T-pier that much, and I've only caught maybe a couple of small fish outside of catching bigger fish in my boat on the other side of the railroad track. Now, for this pier, I've fished it a lot, and I've caught a lot of different fish here. Now, I haven't caught anything of size here, but it's always numbers. And I've had times where the catfish, the blue cats, would hit my rod so hard it would nearly break the wood. You could hear the wood creaking. They have holes. Someone like drilled holes at the end of it, and you can put your rods in the holes. Now, I've caught them in almost every direction here, but there are some snags, and you end up figuring out kind of where they're at. If my memory serving me correct, because it has actually been a while, the snags are usually on the left side, and it's just because the channel here is weird. It goes like that. It's a big snake, and it drops like, straight down 20 feet or whatever. So you get in one of those gullies, you could get a fish out of it, but you can also catch a root. And, it's a snaggy spot, but it's also a good fishing spot. We have the main road here where we got the double bridge, and the fish come into this area. This is called Turkey Creek, and you catch them here. And speaking of the double bridge, that's where we're going next. Here is the bridge. All right, years ago, they replaced this bridge with a new one that's right next to it, but they left this bridge up, allowing people to fish off of it. Now, I've seen practically everything caught here, but when it comes to big fish, it's a 2-person deal. You need to have a friend with you, because if you get a big fish on, then someone's going to have to go around and go down and land the fish for you. And this is the spot where a state record and even maybe a world record blue was caught. One of our locals, I remember seeing his Facebook post. He caught an absolute massive blue, and he put a post up asking for someone to come out and bring him a scale because he knew it was a monster fish. Nobody could get to him. So what he did, he measured the fish and he released it. And from the measurements using the, there's a formula someone came up with for blues. This was a 135 to 140 pound blue, an absolute massive blue. And this happened 2-3 years ago, maybe more. I don't exactly remember, but that was a really good fish. And that makes this spot really, really unique. Now, I really don't know the exact best way to fish this spot. I do know that on the right side is a ton of snags, and in the middle is a boat channel, and they really don't want you getting in that boat channel. There are signs that say no fishing beyond this point. However, I think some of the better spots is, right next to that boat channel. You want to cast out, straight out or to the left a little bit. Just don't get, wrapped up in a boat. And you do have to be careful with boats because sometimes they don't follow the rules and they go right through your lines. It makes me wonder how many boaters have got a crappie hook in their face when people are here catching crappie like crazy. Like I said, there's a bunch of different fish you can catch here. Now, let's move on to the next spot. All right, here's the last spot I'm actually going to show you guys. And funny thing is, I have actually never caught anything here. Supposedly, there is like a hole out there that holds catfish. And this is basically the other boat ramp. This is Turkey Creek behind me. And across the way is Concord Cove. Let's see if I can show you the boat ramp. The water's really, really, really low. And yeah, I've actually tried fishing here quite a few times and have yet to catch anything. But I have heard of people catching good fish from this spot. Now, I'm not seeing any birds here, so there might not actually be any bait on this side. But like I said earlier, I've been seeing all kinds of birds at the other spots. So if I put anything in the water here, I probably wouldn't catch anything. Now, I will do an honorable mention since I'm losing light fast. Across the way is another, fishing area. And that is the spot, the Concord Cove, is the spot where I met up with Catfish Dave before he made his YouTube channel, his current YouTube channel. And I met up with him there to show him my camera gear. And I wasn't intending on recording. However, he was catching flatheads like crazy. So I basically, the first thing recorded was him doing his run, setting a hook on a flathead. I will leave an iCard above to my big flatheads with Catfish Dave video. That was just before he started his current channel, which, as most of us know, went crazy. Now, like I said earlier, hit that thumbs up if you want me to do more videos like this, where I'm showing off some good public fishing spots. I will admit I did not show everything in this area. There are some really good spots here that very few people know about that I'm not going to tell you where they're at. But this is, East Tennessee has so many lakes, and it has the Tennessee River, has a bunch of smaller tributary rivers to the Tennessee River. Overall, you can find fishing just about anywhere. I did this video just in case someone in the future, like they have done in the past, asked me, where would be a good place to fish in Knoxville? Where would be a good place to fish in Concord? I can show them this video now so they can see the exact spots here and pick one and try it out. Now, as always, I want to thank you for taking your time out of your day to actually watch this video. I really, really appreciate it. Now I'm going to head back to the house and wonder why I didn't bring any fishing gear with me, because there's places with fish right now. Thanks again for watching. Hope to see you next time.